Hello, folks. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, coming in loud and clear.
Just give me a thumbs up or something. Good, thanks. All right, we're just waiting. People are just starting to come into the room. Hi. Come on in. The last session ran a little bit long, so we're just going to wait till we get some people in here, then we'll start up.
I'm a walking poster there. It's ironic that we're in the Bosch Auditorium because my university has the Summers Bosch Observatory and a telescope gift from here, I think. Ironically, in Strasbourg, I think they still have the old science professor, and we're connected to them with that. We were the next to last to let go.
You have slides where you're going to show it.
Nope, I'll just be no slides at all.
Do you have a slide? Okay. I can connect to the internet and show people things that they want. Okay. Be ad hoc. Oh, yes, yes. I'm going to jump to the rest of you.
Anybody has figured out when the Earth will be far enough from the Earth to stop?
It's an imprecise calculation because there's reasons why the moon doesn't back away at exactly a constant rate, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 500 million to 1 billion years. But you see different numbers and it depends on the assumptions. If you just take the current rate of recession, I forget where it comes out in that range, but yeah. So you better, take every opportunity because it's not going to last forever.
No, and it's such a coincidence anyway. I saw the wonderful Perseverance video of one of the Martian moons.
Oh, yeah.
In front of the sun.
Yeah.
No trouble eclipse there.
Let's see.
Kudos to whoever
All
gave
right,
the
there.
camera enough filter that it could look at the sun. Show that to us though.
Okay. I'm going to set up a different screen. All right, let's go full screen. So we're recording. Streaming to the Zoom events lobby. All right, screen is paused. Why is my screen paused? Let's do this again. Okay, good. All right, well, let's see if we get a few more. We were even missing Dan.
That's true.
Let's see. Do I have light control?
I saw him on his way out.
Question is, do I have control over the lights? Which are you looking for one of the breakouts? Which one? Okay, well, yeah, this is more resources. So this is basically a follow-up to the session that we just had.
It's not the event planner one. Okay.
No, the event planner is back up in the same place as where we just were.
More resources for.
Well, we welcome your participation.
All right, let's see. My videos.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, assuming that you can hear me, can't figure out why my video is showing at the same time. Let me see if I can. Not really sure. Anyway, assuming you can hear me, is this mic isn't working either?
No, the mic should be working.
Yeah, mic's working. All right, I'll just have to talk more into it like that.
There we go.
Where are you? Oh, it was no wonder I looked behind me. I looked everywhere else. Thank you. That's great.
Yep. If this building was any bigger and I walked, that would already be over.
Yeah.
The old people seeking for better vision and hearing.
All right. So this is a follow-up to the session that we just had upstairs, talking about some more resources. There's three of us that are going to speak, or at least be available to answer some questions. Myself, Rick Fienberg from the AAS Solar Eclipse Task Force, Doug Duncan from University of Colorado, Boulder, and the Fisk Planetarium, and Dan McGlaun, who dazzled you with a very, very time-efficient presentation of the 86,327 pages of his website. So I'm going to go first, and this will be pretty quick. I just want to introduce the website of the task force. I've been watching the comments, and a lot of people are saying, where do I find this stuff? Where do I find this stuff? On our website, same place you registered. And then I'm going to turn it over to Doug, and then you can have the whole rest of it, Dan, because I'm sure people have a lot of questions. Okay, great, great. Okay, so.
Anybody who wears his product on his.
This is, okay, so let me tell you about the Solar Eclipse Task Force. We're the people who with our local host, the RMSC, have put together this workshop. We are not the national leaders or coordinators of the eclipse planning, but we like to think of ourselves as a communications link between everybody at the national and state, regional, local level. And that's why you're seeing people from national agencies and local communities and state departments and so on and so forth. So it's to get us all talking together and pulling in the same direction. And because you'll see a lot of overlap in the comments and occasionally some not quite overlap, but you'll see a lot of the same kind of sentiments and the same kind of experiences that we're all having. as we share information and talk among ourselves. So we have obviously these workshops, which is something that goes back to about 2012, I think, when we started getting the country ready for the Great American Eclipse of 2017. And then we built this website, which I'm going to walk you through quickly, eclipse.aas.org. I realized again this morning that the main AAS site, aas.org, doesn't link to this site. The old site used to, but the new site doesn't. So I've asked them to please add a link. And we see our messaging as twofold. We want to try to encourage people to get into the path. So I encourage all of you from Rochester to make plans to try. Oh, you don't have to. Yeah, you're already in the path, so you're lucky. But we want people to try to get into the path. Motivation being, of course, that a total solar eclipse is a life-changing, multi-sensory, awe-inspiring experience, and we want as many people as possible to have that. But we recognize that just statistically, from the way things work out, most people will experience both the annular and the total eclipse of 23 and 24 as partial eclipses from well off the path. There's nothing we can do about that except to try to get as many people as possible to get into the path. And then our real focus, which was alluded to in Kate's talk just a few minutes ago, is the promotion of eye safety and the consolidation of all the very best eye safety information. And we're working with NASA, with NSF, with the NOAA, with the medical community, trying to get everybody to use the same language that we're using, because we want, it's very important, and it proved the case in 2017, that if everybody's singing the same tune about eye safety, people don't get injured. And there were very, very few injuries in 2017, a miraculously small number. And none of them, there was no blindness, and there was no permanent long-term injury. All right, so this is our website, eclipse.aas.org. It's not the world's most glamorous website. It was built with 2017 technology, and we had a grant that allowed us, or actually 2016 technology, we had a big grant that allowed us to do what was really fancy at the time, but 6 years later, it's kind of rudimentary, but the information is really good. All right, so right now we're promoting both eclipses. The first area, Eclipse America, is just very basic introductory material about eclipses. I'm not going to walk you through it. You can see the list of links. There's links for each of the two eclipses. There's some stuff about how and why eclipses happen and some other stuff, and we'll be adding some stuff there. But the key point about these pages is that, some websites, not to mention any, can be pretty overwhelming because they have so much stuff on it. This is just a really nice place to get started. It gives you the very basics about when these things are happening, what you're going to see, where's the best place to view them, and all that. And then critically, we link to all the other sites that we consider to be the very best with the much more detailed information. So you will find a lot of links to eclipse2024.org on our website, because there's a lot of really, really fabulous stuff there, and Dan is to be applauded, as he has been already once, at least today. So start there. But then our most critical area is the eye safety section. I'll spend a couple minutes on this. So we consider this page to be the most important page on the site. And in fact, this page, the AAS is a small professional association. In 2017, in the week leading up to the eclipse, this page was hit millions of times. The AAS website we never talked about millions of anything. We never did, but this page did it. It's been updated for 2023 and 24. There's more updates coming. And it has very simple information in these kind of graphics, but also much more detailed information. But it's still only one modest web page. Very clear instructions for the use of the solar filters and viewers that you can see, for example, upstairs at the Rainbow Symphony table. We answer some common questions that we get. Is it safe to clean my Eclipse glasses? What about welder's filters? What if you don't have a safe solar filter? Well, there's projection, pinhole projection, optical projection. So again, we're introducing these concepts and trying to keep it pretty simple, but there are links that take you to much more detailed information. We show you how to build a sun funnel, which is a great projection device for showing a group of people an eclipse in total safety because there's no sunlight emerging from the telescope. It's very simple to build, just costs a few bucks. And there's these really nice commercial products, the Sun Spotter and the Solar Scope, that do basically the same kind of thing. They project an image, make it very easy for people to view an eclipse. All right. We make a lot of noise about using solar filters. You've already heard a couple times people saying, get your viewers early. The last thing you want to do, and this is based on the sad experience of 2017, is just go onto Amazon and randomly order Eclipse glasses or other kind of solar filters. You don't know where they're coming from unless you are using a vendor, you know, that you can identify the vendor and you know that that vendor is reputable. Well, how do you know if a vendor is reputable? There's a variety of ways. One way is to go to our reputable vendors page and look at the list. We're going to try to keep the list from being as outrageously long as it was in 2017, where we basically listed every little store that carried solar filters.
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. We're not going to do that this time, but we are pushing the notion that you should get your filters early. If you want custom printed filters like you've been seeing passed around from Kate and from Angela, you need to go to one of the two manufacturers of the custom printed filters. But as long as you know that you're buying from these sources, you know you're getting safe filters. And how do we know this? Because they are only here because they sent me their tests, their test results against the ISO standard that was adopted in 2015. So we know with absolute fact, because we've seen the documentation and verified that it's legit, that this stuff is safe. Do you have a question, Doug?
I personally visited both those factories
Mhm.
and vetted the way they produce stuff.
Wow. Yeah. We're beginning to build a list of authorized resellers. The way we're going to keep the list smaller this time is that we're basically saying these are the best other places to buy filters if you don't need custom printed ones. And you'll see Dan's website is there, Great American Eclipse is there, and there will be additional big authorized resellers there as well. I mentioned the free Eclipse glasses for libraries that Dennis talked about, and we have a section on buying filters for your optics. So all the stuff you need to know about eye safety is there. And then this is our session on resources, so I want to quickly go through the resources that we list. And you'll see we have apps, we have apps and software. So this is stuff for mobile devices as well as computers. We have books and articles. Kate's books are here, other books are here. Fred Espenak's books, Michael Zeiler's books. Downloads is where you go to get some very specific things that can be useful to you, including the white paper that Kate mentioned, which she updated for 2024. There's a really great article here on traffic congestion after the 2017 eclipse that analyzes, what happened. And sorry about my Zoom thing there. The lesson on the left is failure to plan is as good as planning to fail. And the other one is arrive early and leave late. You've heard that already today. It's very critical. You can't force people to stay, but you can try to encourage them to stay. Maps, globes, and calculators. So this is where things like, some of Dan's resources and all the Great American Eclipse stuff, Fred Espenak, eclipsewise.org. And websites is a big deal because everybody's got a website. And so let me show you some of the categories. We have basically websites that are dedicated to each of the two eclipses. I'm building this list of local, regional, and state websites that are welcoming visitors. Just added one on the basis of the chat earlier, not listed here, but I've got one from Indiana now. Websites about solar eclipses more generally. All right, so that's it. The thing is that if you don't know, if you're looking for something, a really great place to start is eclipse.aas.org. And it won't overwhelm you. It's, the stuff is, I think, about the right level of information. So I throw my email up there. You're welcome to contact me anytime. And I am going, oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's my picture from 2017. I wish I could claim credit for everything. I did take the pictures that went into it, but my colleague Sean Walker at Sky and Telescope reprocessed it. He knows how to do it manually in a way to bring out all the contrast. But that is pretty much what it looked like in the binoculars. Yeah. And the sticker, the 2024 sticker has this image on it, but it printed a little dark and the corona doesn't go out so far. I guess this is a good opportunity to mention that, you know, when you say what the eclipse will look like on your website, Dan, of course, we don't know what the corona will look like, but I did note that you made it a solar maximum corona, a round corona. So you did as well as anybody can do more.
Other coronas available. And
Yeah.
in beta right
Yeah.
now, just for me, is
Mhm.
the 2017 Eclipse, and we are using the exact.
Great.
Try to find it.
Yeah. All right. So our next two speakers don't necessarily have any slides. So I'm going to turn it over to Doug Duncan again.
Can I interrupt you for just a second? to
Yes,
say the
You just
most
did.
Useful, yeah. That's a good point.
That was your interruption.
Rick, I'm interrupting you right now.
Yes.
One of the things that I found the very, very most useful was there was a section on the Eclipse website that had photos that you can use.
Oh, yes. I didn't point that out. There is a whole page of downloadable photos. Yep.
And
Yep.
they're free to download.
Free to download. Yeah. They've all been given to us with, you know, Creative Commons type license. Welcome to take them and use them as you will. And more photos will be added because most of the ones that are on there date back to 2017. But, you know, seen one eclipse, seen them all, right? Okay, Doug, why don't you come up here so that people can hear you for sure? Yeah, there are a lot of people.
Do you entertain any videos along with the photos to download? In the
There,
future,
there,
maybe?
there aren't any there, right? There's one safety video, but we're going to be producing a whole bunch of public service announcements. We got to get to do that. So it'll be a different focus than yours, but the same idea, short videos, and we'll make those available.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be doing
Okay.
that in the coming year. So why don't you stay here so people can see you?
Sure, I
Great,
sure
thank
will. So hello, everybody online and offline. My name is Doug Duncan. I'm here representing both myself and the Fisk Planetarium at University of Colorado Boulder. We are fortunate to be embedded in one of the leading astronomy departments in the country. And we're also now the home of the National Solar Observatory, which we stole from Arizona. At any rate, we've been fortunate over the last 5 years. We were funded by NASA to make short feature videos in the 360-degree format that planetariums use. Now, there's a handful of planetariums in the country, the famous ones, Chicago, New York, and whatnot. Here, probably Strassenberg, are big enough to make their own programs, but there's 1,000 planetariums in the US and most of them don't have production facilities. So we proposed to NASA that if they would fund us, we would make short features timely, you know, like when you fly past Pluto or MU69, we would release a 5-minute video. And we're in 360 planetariums all over the world. So we're pretty happy about that. We were lucky enough maybe 8 years ago to totally remodel into the highest tech planetarium in the country, bar none. And we have a video production team. And now we've been funded to make flat screen short features. Okay, so our normal short features are 5 minutes long. The idea is planetariums would play them as people are walking in, although there are other uses. But now we're making flat screens, we're shooting for more 2 to 3 minutes. And the idea is these can be shown where people are walking, standing, libraries. Of course, they're probably useful for school classrooms. And we have 3 videos in production. And you should be able to download them for free by the very beginning of 2023. The place you want to go, you just Google Fisk, F-I-S-K-E, Planetarium Productions. Okay, that's where we put our productions. There's a bunch there, but they're mostly designed for planetariums right now. They will be in English and in Spanish. And there's 3 that are definitely planned and possibly 2 more. The 3 that are planned are annular eclipse, total eclipse, and what causes eclipses. And we broke it into those 3 parts so that each one would be shorter. Dennis Schatz has encouraged us to maybe produce a short video designed for principals and superintendents so that they'll be supportive of their teachers and not, tell all the kids to stay inside or something like that. And then we also will probably produce some quite short TV-oriented features, and we should stay in touch with you about that, 30 to 60 seconds. And we hope that some of you would take those and run with them. It has been my experience at many past eclipses, and this is especially true today. The local news is very interested if there's going to be something you can see locally, but especially newspapers are very short-staffed if they haven't closed down. So if you go to your local newspaper with a story, they will print it. They will run with it. And if you go to your local TV and you've got a little bit of good video material, you'll probably get on. So that's what we are fixing to furnish everybody with. And that was all funded by NASA. And so thank you, NASA. The other thing I want to bring to you as a resource is funded solely by me. And that is that I noticed over the last several eclipses, a lot of people trying to take a picture of the eclipse with their phone. That doesn't work very well. So I spent the pandemic developing a nice, easy way to take pictures of the sun with your phone. And the invention is something called Solar Snap. And it actually comes in a package with a pair of eclipse watching glasses for you, but a pair for your phone, which of course are one-eyed. And they have a little piece of Velcro on the back. You just put a piece of Velcro on your phone, you put the filter over it, and you use the free app, and you get a bunch of pictures of the sun. And so we did a test marketing of a couple of hundred people. People love their phones nowadays. So our test market probably had more younger people, 30-ish year olds, than it had really old people. But we said to people, you want to spend $2 for a pair of glasses for you, or $12 for 2 pairs of Eclipse glasses and 2 phones, filters, and 2 apps. And a little over 50% said, oh yeah, I want something for my phone. So just like a normal Eclipse glasses product, you can buy this in bulk. I had to work with one of the 2 factories. I've worked with both in the past for many eclipses, and I love them both. I chose to work with American Paper Optics, whose website is eclipseglasses.com. And this just went on the market. So for people who have stores or something like that, in the normal way, you can buy them in bulk at wholesale and resell them. But I told the factory that a lot of my friends are not merchants, they're astronomers, they're teachers. I know a lot of people, but they aren't necessarily set up to sell. So what we worked out is the company will sell these online, but if somebody is referring customers to the company, then they will pay them directly a commission. So it can be a school, it can be a club, anything like that. You just get a special connection, and then every time somebody buys something, they give you a commission. So eclipses have been educational, fun, and also profitable. My small campus planetarium usually makes about $25,000 on an eclipse. I guess the last thing I'll mention, this is really now a little specialized, but if you're curious, you can ask me for the link. We have perhaps the country's finest hardware store in Boulder, Colorado. It's locally owned, and the joke is that every man who retires in Boulder puts on a green vest and goes to work at McGlaun. And they have advice there. I mean, they can teach you how to do anything. They have so much knowledge. And I have, over the last 10 years, taught McGlaun all about eclipses. And so they carried thousands of Eclipse glasses, and we filmed a 1-minute video. And I find it pretty hilarious because all of the salespeople, my God, it's never been anything like this. Like it was like baskets, I mean, like, not baskets, what do you call them? It's like sandbags in the flood. but even more. So about half of Boulder came into the hardware store and the other half came to the campus planetarium. And we had the city all fixed up. So anyway.
That video was, we never sold 5,000 anything.
Yeah, I know. It's a pretty fun video. The poor clerks at the hardware store, they had ordered more than 5,000, but they ran out. And then people were beating on them. Why don't you have more? But that's the way it is, right? That's our job, to prepare people seriously. So anyway, I do hope that Solar Snap catches on. Obviously, I'm the inventor and patent holder of it, but it's pretty fun to use. I tried it without the filter on the full moon. And I got a nice little picture of the full moon. Then I got the sun, and then I got the idea. Let's measure them both. Are they the same size? Turns out that your phone image is accurate enough to tell whether it's going to be an annular or a total. So that's kind of fun. I'm hoping that a bunch of teachers will take this and be creative and think of things their students can do if it's very, very easy to get a picture of the sun, and for that matter, a picture of the moon. So I'm sure there are creative people out there who will make lessons out of that. And that's what I have to bring. Anybody have any questions? And should I look in the chat? I should. Somebody's chatting. And they say, I got one this morning and took a picture. Okay.
What's the product website?
The product website is eclipseglasses.com.
So it's the same, it's the regular.
It's the regular American Paper Optics website, and now you will see that next to the Eclipse glasses, the Solar Snap is there. Okay, I think it's all yours, Dan.
Okay, thank you. I was going to, so Rick, should I use your?
Yeah, because I've got mine plugged in and I've got the Zoom running. So let me,
Yeah, I also, yeah, I'm finding that the internet connection is.
that's because I'm sucking it all up right here. So I'm going to go to Eclipse.
I'm gonna shut this down. What I want to do is I want to show anybody the detail of anything. But I do have the 2017. He's bringing you up.
I'm bringing you up here.
Yeah, but I can't do the 2017 on that. The URL, I'll bloody my fingers if I type that.
All right.
Well, you just have to tell us about that.
We've got more parameters. and
Oh,
tags,
this isn't going to help. I have to share my screen.
strings.
I have to share my screen so that the rest of the folks can see it.
That is kind of a cool idea, though. If you want to take a picture with your phone, and you have to protect your phone from the elements, and the ISO standard doesn't cover. You had to get like a special dispensation from the Ralph. Yeah. So.
What I really like is it just dawned on me a couple of days ago that I could measure the diameter. I just measured, how many pixels across the sun is and the moon, and there's enough accuracy to tell if one covers the other.
Okay, we can take over.
That's amazing.
You make a good lesson in statistics.
Can they see you? Yeah, they can see.
Student measure the diameter like of the sun and the moon and put them all in this graph.
Hello.
Teach that.
We had a question about standard deviation and variance the other day. So does anybody want to see stuff for themselves? That's what I really want to show. And this will be successful if I can actually do that, because I don't just want to ramble through a million things that I have. Go ahead.
Why don't you do it for Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, which is where it's the closest place to me in the path.
Oh, you don't have a touch screen. Oh, sorry.
But I would never go there myself because the Eclipse will probably be crowded out. So
Well, where are you going to go?
I'm gonna go to Mexico.
I am terrible with a touchpad. Like I can't even use one. I don't even know how to use. I mean, can I plug a mouse?
I don't have a mouse.
I have a mouse.
I don't know if you can use it because I don't have a mouse pad, but we can try.
I'm
You can
sorry.
try.
I can't even say that.
That's all right. We'll make it work.
Says the guy who wrote all the code.
Yeah, I know. It's funny. It's like, I don't know anything. I don't know how to use a computer.
People for that. I'm the technical project manager.
I understand what SQL can do, and I can read it and say, this isn't right. Writing it,
All right.
I got people for that. Let's try it. I just need
Oh,
to plug in
Okay, so plug that into here.
you with all the technical stuff.
No, it's just because the Macs don't use standard ports. Okay.
The command line version's in beta. Okay. It's actually in gamma. It doesn't even
Do
exist.
you want to use this by using that? But you have to be careful not to press any keys.
Rick, thank you so much.
All right,
That's
let's see if
actually
we can
one.
make it work. Okay.
Well, it's not scrolling. Okay, yeah, please. So what I want to do, we want to show, okay, it does work, but it's mouse, it's backwards from what I'm used to. So I'll go like that. Okay, so we will go to, you said, I could go to the Pittsburgh, New Hampshire city page and link on it. And in fact, I think that's what I'm going to do unless I can. I can't get to it. Yeah, sorting is.
My point is, if I want to see the total solar eclipse from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, I have to do it on your website because it's almost certainly going to be clouded.
Jay Pasikoff, we were on a Zoom. Well, it looks like the only way we're going to see this eclipse is on the simulator. And I was very, very amazed. So yes, it will pull up and let's hope everything's fine. Look at, so we have little teaching you how to use it. It kind of is zoomed in, zoomed out. You can change the scene. I could put Pittsburgh, New Hampshire in the ocean. Let's go to a lake. I can put you in the mountains. I'm going to make it like that so we can see the, we've got all kinds of instructions you can read, but let's go ahead and see. Can I move this?
No, I don't know.
That's fine. It's good.
It's not in the way.
Okay. So what'll happen is we can move it forward in time and backward in time, and we will see it get dark. And after it gets to 98%, you will see the map and you will see yourself. The sun? Well, let me zoom in. It's not zooming. There we go. So yeah, we have the sun. When you get zoomed in so far, the thickness of the crescent it goes subpixel on you. And so then there are your Bailey's beads. Let me zoom in even a little bit more. You can turn the corona off if you want to completely, and that will let you really see. And these are accurate Bailey's beads using the LRO data. Yep, we do all the calculations. We run all the scenarios. It takes about 2 months to run all that, to get it all into the simulator. There are your outlines if you want to see them. And this is actually kind of a cool thing because you can, you'll see the moon moving across the face of the sun. This is the accurate, I'm going to call it an ellipse. We know it's not actually an ellipse. And we do have this corona. We also have other coronas that you can view if you like other coronas. And once the preview comes out a couple weeks ahead of time, my artist is standing by to create it for us and make it. It's pretty accurate. Yes, but it's very, very accurate. So this is what's going to happen. Now you have it in regular, you can put it in whatever time zone that you want to be in. We pick a time zone based on the latitude and longitude because we have all the time zone polygons and blah, blah, blah. But you can also see it in the normal time viewer, or you can see it this way. You'll see obscuration and magnitude, and we talk about what the difference is. Plus, there's a complete set of instructions that is really voluminous that you can go through and you can see just about anything that you want. If we do this in an edge location, which I think I'd like to show you. First of all, was that good enough for Pittsburgh? You got your.
That was better than the real fit.
Oh. We've got stars. What do we have here? Something has popped up because I hit something, obviously. We've got Venus. We've got, that was not a star. We've got Jupiter. So we have, the sky that's going to happen. And we have, actually, if you kind of notice this, this might not be the best location to show this, but the orange doesn't come all at once. It comes in pieces, and it actually will move as it goes. And you kind of see there's a not so orange right here. And then as we go through, you'll see that it takes up the whole screen. And then as totality moves on, it'll back off in stages. What we're doing is we're actually measuring your location. We're taking vectors to the outline, the edge of the outline. And if it's far enough, you get orange. If it's not too far, you don't get orange. And I'm working right now on an algorithm that's going to adapt that for the whole sky, so that we're going to actually be able to show you the shadow moving through the sky. Is that not showing up?
Well, I'm trying to get
He's messing with the lights.
I'm messing with the lights.
So this is where the Zoom people actually have the advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me do this also.
Better, that's good.
Let me show you something
It's a
on,
little darker up front, it's brighter in the back.
let me show you something on Kate's eclipse that's coming up. Because if we zoom in to a location out here, and I have visions of John Beatty floating in a ship out here at the edge of, everybody knows John, right? Floating out here at the edge of where it changes over from being angular to total. We can change the scene. The sun has not risen yet. And so we have sunrise effects that are in play. And as the sun rises over the ocean, we're going to make the ocean green so we can see everything. We have, throw these out of the way. We have atmospheric refraction effects in place. We have, and the Bailey's beads for this, and you notice the shadow as you see it is very small because you are at the transition zone between hybrid and total. We're going to see the Bailey's beads all around the circumference, and this is in real time. This is running the show in real time, and you can kind of see what it will look like. And that was the duration of the eclipse from there.
You have to adjust for vibration for the.
Absolutely. We probably did 10 million calculations for all of them. I did the libration, the ray tracing, from each location on Earth to each location for all of the librations that are in play. And yeah, it's not for the fearless. If you didn't like algebra, you won't like this. So, but another thing I wanted to show you real quick, if we go to the 2023 eclipse, we will see something that's a teachable moment. We can go here basically anywhere, and we can see, and this may be totally obvious to folks like us who are used to this, but for people who don't think about things like this, what's different about this eclipse? The other one, the outline for the moon was larger than the sun, and it was covering the whole sun. This one, the moon, it's a combination of the moon being too far away from the earth, the earth being closer to the sun, and those changes that happen in the orbital mechanics of the moon and the sun that generate the conditions that cause an eclipse to be annular or total. And I think this is a very easy way to see it. It's a way to show people the ring of fire. And I really am, oh, here's another thing. You can see it doesn't really look dangerous, but I did this for Jay Pasikoff also. I put a glare feature in place because he's got a big important point. Even if the eclipse is 0.1%, that 100 times solar radiation, even if it's 100th of normal, even if it's 10,000th of normal, it's too much for your eyes and you will be overwhelmed and you need to use your eclipse glasses. So we have, just one second, we have this red notification that is here that if this eclipse were total and if it were completely total, if we were in the path and every little instance of Bailey's beads were completely gone, that warning will go away to help emphasize to folks that you got to use them when it's not total, and you can put them away when it is total.
I did a calculation one time. I got that 5% of the sun is 20,000 full moons. So,
Wow, and the full moon, well, the full moon is pretty bright, and
20,000.
that it's amazing. It is truly amazing, and it's something to be really careful of. Now, we can't study Bailey's beads there. Does anybody want to see the eclipse from their hometown? Nobody?
Northampton, Massachusetts.
Northampton, this eclipse. Okay, so we could find the city page, or we could just search. It's Northampton or Northampton.
No one works.
Did you, I'm from Indiana. Did that impress you that I knew? Okay. Actually, I have been through this database so many times that cities pop up in my recognition that you just wouldn't, like, I feel a kinship to Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's just amazing. They are barely in the path. I'm going to show this and then we will. So you might think, well, this isn't really, it's not special because it's not in total in the path, but
No. You think, oh, it's close enough because it's 90 something, right?
but see, the difference is here I am there. It gets dark, but it doesn't get real dark. And does it get interesting? Yeah, you're part of an eclipse. You're part of the alignment. But is it the full meal deal that astronomers would want to see? So the message that I want to get out above all is everybody's eclipse experience is personal because Bailey's beads are different technically for each person, right? Because there's a different ray. The timings are different. It's still the same eclipse, but just because we want you to get in the path, but if you can't get in the path, you are still part of something special, something to be celebrated. And that is why on my site, you have more things open than I do, Rick. Oh, good night. Never.
Close my browser, I'll kill you.
Emergency exit is blocked. God dang. Okay, so I wanted to show you that we have well, we have featured locations. We have a city of the week and a state of the month that we do. And the current city of the week now is Columbus, Ohio. Columbus, Indiana will be. So if you go to Columbus, Ohio's page, you'll see that it's featured, but we have the blog post for the Columbus area, the simulator, we have the YouTube video. Is audio able to be heard from here?
Well, we can turn on the speaker and then see what happens.
You can hear the cool music that I've got. This is the YouTube video that's canned. It's not the streamlined version, it's the YouTube version, but it's the low tech if you don't want to do anything. You can see the eclipse. There are 2,500 of these in English on YouTube. Barely missed because downtown Columbus is just outside the southern limit. So anyway, there you go. I have that for 2,500 locations in English, 2,500 in Spanish, and about 700 in French, because we did the Canadian cities. Even if you're in Winnipeg, you get it in French, because why wouldn't you? Because there are people in Winnipeg who speak French. Yeah.
All right, let's see. I think we have a few questions in the chat, so let's see. No, that was good. Looks like I think we got everything. All right. I actually want to show one more slide if I can. See if I can find it, because, yeah, let's see. There it is. Okay, let's see. Let's go here. And let's go, I need to get out of full screen.
Boy, that really.
Yeah, that's a great slide.
I'm gonna, so this is, it's not on our website yet. It will be. I've kind of been busy with this workshop, but the point of this slide, let me make sure I'm sharing. I don't think I'm sharing. I hate it when my computer does things I don't want it to do. No, I don't want it to do that. I want it to do that. I want to get out of this.
You can blame it on me for closing this window.
Yeah, I just want to get, I don't want to be full screen anymore. There we go. Okay, so I will show this slide. First, I have to get back to Zoom and share my screen. so that my Zoomy friends can see it. All right, let's share that. And then let's get this out of the way. And let's show the slide. Okay, so so the point of this is to show, and my sharing is paused again. Why does it do that?
This is a logarithmic scale too.
Yeah, I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why my, resume share, there we go. Did it go? No, let me stop this and resume, do it again. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know my own computer. Share screen. There we go. All right. So, all right. So this is a graph of the brightness relative to full sunlight with time. And it's, or with eclipse magnitude. The magnitude is the fraction of the sun's diameter that's covered by the moon. And so what I do is I should say, okay, so each time step there is 7.5 minutes between the horizontal or the vertical bars, and then the horizontal bars are a factor of 10. And so you can see that this is a scale from 1 at the top to 1/1,000,000th at the bottom. And what's interesting is just to think that, you know, your eyes can dilate. As you said, about 2 millimeters for an adult in the sunlight. We only dilate to about 5 millimeters maybe. If we're lucky, as we get older, the kids can go to 7. But in any case, by area, we certainly can dilate by a factor of 4, which means that, you know, until 75 or 80% of the sun is covered, your eye is slowly accommodating to the brightness changes, and you don't really notice it. And everybody who says, yeah, once it gets to like 3/4 or 80%, I start to notice it. Well, that's because now it's actually getting darker and your eye can't adapt any further. Okay, so pupil dilation takes you all the way to 75% at least before you would even notice an eclipse was happening if you weren't looking at, you know, the pinhole images of the sun through the shadow of trees or something like that. And then midday shade is even more than that. It's like 85% of the sun covered. The annular solar eclipse will be 90% by area, 90% obscuration. So, you know, it's a little darker than midday shade, but a seriously overcast day is darker than it gets during the annular eclipse if it's clear. But you'll notice that we're now within the last 5 minutes or so of the partial eclipse. And in that last couple of minutes, it darkens by 5,000 to 10,000 times, depending on diameter of the shadow and how close you are and all this. So, you know, it's nightfall in a matter of like, it feels like seconds. And that is really dramatic. And what I tell people is, if you're not in that zone where you get that last percent, you know, you miss all of these different phenomena. And it's not even a complete list. It's just a pretty complete list. So this is the point of this, is to show that there's really a dramatic difference between a partial or an annular and a total. It's a logarithmic scale, 4 orders of magnitude drop in the last 2 minutes. It's mind-blowing for people who've never experienced it. And of course, it brightens just as fast on the other side.
That would be really great for teachers.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm going to put it on the website. I'm quite proud of it. Actually, it took me a long time to get it figured out just right.
That's awesome. The math is
yeah.
cool. Can I share a story that has to do with that?
Sure.
I have been clouded out. I've seen 14 totals. I've been clouded out once. And that was in China in 2009 when almost everybody got clouded out, but Glenn Schneider had a plane and got a minute and a half.
It's clear. I hired 3 buses and we set out for a place called Wuhan.
Wuhan, yeah.
And we drove all through the night. And we just
Everybody knows about Wuhan now.
They all do because it was clear. But it wasn't where I was. I was in this resort on the ocean in Shanghai, and they had like prepared for us. They had bottles of Dom Perignon laid out, just bottles. Well, there was no eclipse going on because it was solid over. It was severe deck. There was nothing, and it rained. And I set out a glass and I collected eclipse rain that fell during totality, and I still have that. It's my memento of the day.
And tell your other story, because we
Okay, so it gets dark. When you are clouded out, when you are rained out, we hope it doesn't happen to anybody. It gets black as in you can't see your hand in front of your face. So that's my relation to that. So, sorry about that.
No, that's great. That's great.
You're more fortunate than I. I'm two rain outside of 12.
I'm two cloud outs out of 14.
had rain.
So
I have seen 100% of the total eclipses that I have watched.
one, yeah, yeah. Another interesting factoid. Oh yeah, you got it. Charles has a question. Yeah.
When I was in McGlaun in 2017, it was the lightest totality I've ever seen.
Ah.
I didn't see the stars. I think I saw it in the biggest picture, but and then in Baja, for in Mazatlan, for instance, there was a huge footprint. So I saw the summer stars, winter stars.
Yeah, well, you're comparing a 6+ minute eclipse or a 7 minute. This is just, I think I calculated this for,
It says relative.
yeah, it's relative. And the difference at the end there, 5 to 10,000, that's kind of narrow shadow versus bigger shadow, I just picked the brightness of the full moon as my lowest point, but that changes too because the moon perigee and apogee, and so
It's asymptotic to get to the path it came.
yeah, and then
This should be darker than 2017.
so but yeah, 2017 was like 70 miles wide, and this one's 120, so almost so the light coming from where the total eclipse isn't, or where the eclipse isn't total, is much farther away. So yeah, it gets a lot darker if you're near the center line. And conversely, if you stay near the edge, it never gets at this dark because you're so close to where it's not covered. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, it's a break. I don't see any more questions, I don't think so, online. So yeah. So thanks all. Oh wait, let me just check. There's a few more things in the chat. Let's see. Yeah, people are looking for the Solar Snap app. Good. All right. Yeah, we're selling stuff. All right, good. We're gonna pay Doug's way back to Colorado. He bought a one-way ticket because he couldn't afford a round trip, and so that's why he's walking around with the sandwich board. All right, very good. We'll sell solar filters for food. Yeah. Okay, great. Well, thank you, everybody. The next session will be at 3:30, and it'll be the final plenary, in which we will be talking about messaging, solar eclipse messaging. Thanks all for joining us online.